Chris Ryder, thank you so much for joining me. I guess in America right now it will be starting to warm up quite a touch there.
It's definitely warming up. The daffodils are out. We got rid of the snow. So it's spring.
Very good. Now, for those who aren't aware, Chris, you're an expat Kiwi and you've been very successful in the United States. How long exactly have you been there, and what prompted you to make the move there permanently?
Been here 29 years. Came over. I basically just came over because my wife had a transfer with her job, and she was working in New York City as an accountant. And after a couple of years, I started training.
Okay, and how would you describe the industry there, Chris? Obviously, there's quite a lot more racing and higher staked races. So do you feel like it's easier to make your way there?
Generally, yes. I think so. Exactly like you say, there's more money to race for. Each state has there's enough money to race for. Even though we do go from state to state depending on our horses, but generally there's more money to race for here. You know, if you've got one of the stakes type calibre.
Okay,
horses.
And obviously, Chris, She's All Rock. She must have caught your eye to, have your interest all the way from the United States. How exactly did you come to learn about She's All Rock and do this deal to buy her?
Well, I've been trying to buy a horse in New Zealand for more than a year, and I ended up buying yearlings because it's all I could get. It's easy to go buy a yearling than a racehorse. But I've been talking to Mark Burden about trying to buy one or two of him, and he told me that he'd just got back from Australia at the time and he'd seen this filly win the New South Wales Oaks. Mm-hmm. And he thought that she may be able to be bought. So I looked her 4 or 5 races up. I watched her videos. She looked very good. Mark liked her, so Mark called in and we got her bought.
And would you imagine that going forward, her future in the Northern Hemisphere, Chris, is it quite straightforward for the Down Under breds to adapt to the racing up there? Well, I haven't bought a New Zealand horse up for a while, but depends on the horse. Generally, they need a little bit of time to settle in over here before you qualify them. Mm-hmm. Like 6 weeks maybe. But it's kind of a good time of the year to bring them over now because you're before your winter and they're not coming into our winter. Mm-hmm. But I do intend to bring her over once she's finished her 3-year-old racing. Yeah, and speaking of the 3-year-old racing, Chris, there's been a lot of talk about She's All Rock heading to New Zealand and competing in the New Zealand Oaks, and understand potentially if she's able to earn enough money, you're very keen to head to the Jewels with her.
Absolutely, why not? Yeah.
Well, it'll be a great introduction to, well, she's already been proven over the sprint distances, but do you think that, the New Zealand times are starting to stack up, given the differences in the racing styles, of course, but do you think that we're starting to catch up with your breed up there?
Oh, definitely. I think a classic example was the Miracle Mile, mm-hmm. where, they've always talked about the times horses go in America. Well, the Australians finally put in a decent track, right, and race over a mile, and look what they go. They go the same as they do here, right? Yeah,
definitely. You must have...
So now you don't have to talk about the American times, you can talk about your own ones.
That's right. And it must, I know you come back here to visit family from time to time, Chris, but it must really stand out each time you come home and see the differences.
Yes, it does. I like the New Zealand style of racing, mm-hmm. and the Australian style of racing. It's over the longer distance. It's interesting races. David Miller sure enjoyed driving.
Yes. Yeah, he seemed to adapt very well to our style down here too, and even racing on the grass surface, which we kind of take for granted down here, don't we?
Right. He thought it was tremendous. He loved it.
Brilliant. Okay, Chris, you've had great success up there with the likes of Put On a Show and some really top grade performers.
All things going well with She's All Rock. Where do you think that you'll be aiming her late this year in her campaigns?
Well, initially, this month, the 21st is the Lim, and the 27th is the final for the Victorian Oaks. Mm-hmm. That's why she's still in Australia at the moment.
Yes.
So initially is that, and then off to New Zealand for those 2 races, we hope, and then back to Australia for the Vicbred Super Series, which has a final of 125.
Yes.
And then I'm just assuming after that I'll give her a break and bring her up to the United States.
Perfect. And what type of races do you think, as an older mare, that she'll be looking to target?
Well, right now I'm just thinking about racing her at Yonkers. Mark Pitt, who has her, is sure she'd be fine on a half. That's my initial thinking. If she proves to be better and is able to go with the top caliber mares here, which we'll do it. But we're not really sure about that until we get her here, are we?
No, exactly right. Chris, you mentioned just finally that you did purchase a yearling out of the sales here last year. Has that horse carried on? How is it going up in the United States?
Oh, I didn't bring him to the United States. I left him in New Zealand.
Oh, you did? Okay. Well, any updates on how that horse is going?
It's going tremendous. Actually, I acquired one by myself, and then I took a quarter of one with Barry Purdon that he bought, and they've had 2 preparations, and they're tuned out.
Oh, right.
Which is okay, but Barry thinks he thinks they're okay, but they're 2 now, and they're just not quite ready to race.
Perfect. Oh, well, fingers crossed that you could have horses all over the world winning for you, Chris.
Well, we love to win, don't we? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, fingers crossed, exactly. But in the last sale, just your previous one, I did the same. I've got a buying habit. I bought a piece of another one with Barry and another one by myself, so we'll see.
Oh, fingers crossed. Well, Chris, thank you so very much for your time, and we will certainly follow She's All Rock with interest. Good luck, of course, heading into the Oaks and the Jewels. Hopefully we'll see you there at Cambridge. We'll see the horse there this year.
Yes, thanks, Jess. Nice talking to you.